Life is full of very thoughtful questions. Who am I? What am I doing here? And of course, which Overwatch hero am I? Thank you everybody, I have hit 1,000 subs. This is my AMA with a bit of a personality quiz in the mix as well. If you're not already subscribed, please do so. I just hit 1,000 and climbing. This quiz was from January 25th, 2016. The game had not even launched yet. This is going to be very interesting to see what characters are even in this. I bet like Genji and Mei and Diva probably aren't even included. So what this is going to be, I'm just going to run you through the quiz itself, and I'm going to be answering your guys' questions interspersed throughout. Without further ado, let's get into it. What's your pump up song? Eye of the Tiger, Blinded by the Light, The Trooper, Stronger, We Will Rock You, Till I Collapse. I don't know two of these songs, so they obviously aren't my hype up song. The Blinded by the Light, I don't know the Bruce Springsteen version very well. Eye of the Tiger is so vanilla, isn't it? But so is We Will Rock You. You know what? Let's do We Will Rock You. I think so. Yeah, I like Queen, sure. It's not a great selection, I think, of hype up songs, but I don't know, I guess. What sorts of things have you learned so far in content creation, and how will those things influence your upcoming projects? I started Twitch in, I think, the end of 2022, just no camera, coaching, not really much, no fanfare, no content out of it, right? I was just on Twitch. Nothing was really happening. So a little later, I started making coaching TikToks pretty infrequently, weren't really getting picked up by the algorithm. I started making a couple more like informative ones, which were doing pretty okay, but I wasn't getting the subscribers and stuff. And I moved over to YouTube and I started doing a lot of YouTube videos, and I eventually did daily uploads, but then I made it weekday uploads, which I'm still doing right now. And I guess I've learned that like consistency, perseverance, all of that stuff, it's really helped, and it's helped me keep a level head. And the way that I've done it so far is that as I'm building my community, trying to figure out what sticks and what doesn't, I've not put too much effort into too many things, because at the end of the day, if they go poorly, then I don't feel like I wasted a lot of time, which worked pretty well at the beginning. But as I get bigger and bigger, I want to do more things. It's a bit of a problem that I need to figure out going forward. But basically, the importance of consistency, I think thumbnails on YouTube have been a very big thing. And I'm also learning more to interact with my community, because I have a Discord and it's going pretty well. You should join it. It's in the description below. But I need to reach out a little more, try to be a community head, because I think that will keep people coming back more and more. So that's kind of where I'm at. How will it influence your upcoming projects? Of course, I'm going to work on some bigger things in the future, but for right now, we're going to keep it a little more low key and just do some regular edited stuff and my regular stuff for a little bit as I kind of get an audience and figure out what's really what I want to do at the end of the day. What do you most desire? What do I most desire? Respect, justice, power, knowledge, peace, just a good time. I do love me a good time, I can't lie. Ooh. I don't like power, justice, like that's so broad. What do you even mean by that? Respect, also a little broad. I want to say knowledge, but let's be real. I just want a good time. I just want a good time. That's all. I want to enjoy myself, I guess. So who doesn't, right? What content creator, Overwatch or not, would you say your biggest influence is? So I'll give you two. I'll give you one in the Overwatch space and one outside. So in the Overwatch space, I think it's probably pretty obvious, especially if you've known me for a while or you've been watching my stuff for a while. It's Spylo. Spylo does a lot of stuff that is very similar to what I do, rework ideas. It's very solution oriented. It's not just here's a problem that I have, it's what can we do about it, how can we potentially influence the dev team to do something about it. And I think that is really, really healthy for the community to not just throw out our problems, because we do so much of that already. but what actually would be constructive going forward. And of course, he also does a lot of just kind of like think piece stuff like that. I really do like it a lot, and I am a CS major, and I'm pretty big into game design and stuff like that, so it's kind of like a natural fit as well. Outside of Overwatch, I would definitely say my biggest influence, I say influence, but it's really more of the person I respect the most and kind of makes me want to do this type of stuff, Brian David Gilbert. He, I think, brought so much uniqueness to YouTube, especially in my high school years when he started doing the Unravel series. And I think a lot of his newer stuff is just cool out there. He just has an idea and he runs with it because he is allowed to. He's kind of got the resources to. Nothing takes up too many resources for him. He's able to get it done. And he has a couple of my favorite videos on YouTube. How to Make Jorts is still so funny to me. I love that video. Anyways, yeah, it's Brian David Gilbert. I want to be more like him, basically in terms of not being bound by just regular stuff, like being creative and allowing it to happen and taking risks. And I want to start making that as I go further. Pick a weapon: sniper rifle, grenade launcher, bow and arrow, 6-shooter, warhammer, intellect. Wow, ooh, wow, the knowledge is power or whatever. Let's be real here. A lot of these are like, oh, this is the Widow one, and this is the Pharaoh one, and this is the Cass one. Intellect is such a stupid answer. I am not doing that. I don't care about the hammer. I'm gonna go with my classic. When I was a kid, I loved bow and arrows in watching like stuff, right? Bow and arrows were the coolest thing out there possible. I wanted to have one. I had one as a kid, a very beginner friendly, it was like Duck Dynasty brand or something like that, and I never used it, but I'm gonna go with bow and arrow, classic, Hanzo coded, unfortunately. Why do you think you are growing somewhat fast as an OW2 content creator? I just think I answered it a little earlier. It's consistency. It is decent thumbnails. I can't really tell you why. It's all luck. The algorithm just picks up other stuff, but I have learned a couple of tricks to keep it up, keep it going. Other than that, you guys are just liking it, you're finding it, you're sharing it, you're coming back. It's really all up on you guys, right? Once the audience starts kind of trickling in, I just have to thank you guys for still being interested in it, because as you share it, it goes further and further. So I'm not going to put that much of it on me. I'm just trying to do my best work here. And the reason why the growth comes, I don't necessarily think it's always because of every individual decision I make. So yeah, I can't tell you. It's just kind of happening. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. But no real answer here, unfortunately. What's your favorite Blizzard franchise? Am I allowed to say Overwatch? I have only ever played a couple Diablos, a tiny bit of Hearthstone, and basically a negligible amount of Heroes of the Storm. No one's ever played the Lost Vikings. Come on, Blizzard. StarCraft, Warcraft, I don't care. I'm just gonna go ahead and say Diablo, even though I don't even like Diablo 3 that much. I think 4 is pretty fun, so yeah, Diablo, I guess. But honestly, I'm gonna be so real with you, Blizzard does not make games that I like, bar Overwatch. The rest of their lineup is just not for me. RTSs, dungeon crawlers, MMOs, all of that, I'm good. No, thank you. This is a pretty simple question, but outside of Overwatch, what else do you like playing? So this is not a simple question for me, because I'm gonna be so real with you. I don't like other team-based games, really, at all. When I say that I play video games or I am a gamer of sorts, it's that I play a lot of games overall. I play single-player games all the time. That is what I spend a lot of my free time doing. It's just playing games, being up to date, playing the classics, stuff like that. You see, like, my sub goals and everything are just for me to play classic games to keep me accountable to continue going, because I want to make games eventually in the future. That's kind of what I've wanted to do for a little bit here, and I need to get up on my history. I need to play some of the old stuff. I need to get what I like and what I think works in my head And that comes with playing more and more and experiencing more and more. And eventually, of course, it'll come with making stuff. That's a little harder, but, you know, eventually I'd like to do that. But what else do I like playing, though? In terms of what games I like to play overall, I love narrative games, but most of the games I've played with narratives, or even narrative-centered, well, they're not very good or well written, in my opinion. I think it is very rare to find a really good story that grasps me, and it's kind of like this white whale that I kind of want to chase as I eventually go further and hopefully further in a career in this kind of stuff. But how do you make a good narrative? Because I think that there is a lot of development in game narrative and everything that we can expand on that I don't think is quite there with something like movies, where there's a lot of movies and a lot of refining and there's a lot of new experimental stuff happening. But I think there's so much more open territory in gaming because it's just a newer medium. It's got a lot more elements. Interacting with a story is such a powerful tool. Being able to actually not even change the outcome, but just kind of like have a say in the outcome of some variety is such a weird, interesting thing that only games have. So that is kind of what I'm really, really focused on. I love narrative games, and I play everything. Platformers, FPS, anything. I'll play it all. I'll try it all. But yeah, that's it. I'm a gamer. What makes you most angry? Suffering in humans, suffering in animals, corporate greed, rejection, feeling manipulated, people who park in two spots. So that's the silly, stupid answer. Feeling manipulated, okay, here's what I say. If suffering in animals is more important to you than suffering in humans, come on, let's be real. I'm gonna go ahead and say corporate greed, which is funny because we play Overwatch. Get your jokes in, come on, put them down there. I know you want to do it. I get it, I understand. Who do you think the best designed hero in Overwatch is, and what design space would you like them to explore for future heroes? The single best design hero in the game is such a hard thing to kind of quantify because there's a lot of different design goals that they have for all of the heroes in the game. So I think it's hard to pinpoint like what the single best designed character is. There are a lot of characters that are well designed for Overwatch 1. Winston, Lucio, Tracer, all super well designed, almost perfect, if not perfect characters. I'm going to give you the best designed hero, I think, for Overwatch 2. In my opinion, that character is Junker Queen, because she is solo tank, super viable as it, but she also is not hard countered by anyone, and she, in my opinion, doesn't really hard counter anybody else. But there's so much depth with all the interactions with so many heroes, right? She is okay into poke because she has a tool to disrupt poke. She's good into dive because, again, she has tools to disrupt dive. She is a brawl tank, but you can play her into anything. You can play her a lot of places. Now, of course, she's got a lot of weaknesses. I wouldn't exactly encourage you to play her everywhere, but in theory, on paper, she has so much stuff that allows her to counterplay everything that's going to come her way in an interesting way, in a large variety of it. And I think a lot of characters need to focus more on being like Queen if we're going to stick with current Overwatch 2. Just have a lot of tools, but not be super overpowered in any one regard. Nothing that you counter or you do to outplay other characters is like super world-ending, overbearing. It's just a nice tool to have against certain things, so it's not like complete pain to play into certain characters. Does that make sense? What design space would you like them to explore for future heroes? I've talked about this a lot. I love when they manipulate the map. When you interact with the map in some variety, teleporter, ice wall, pedal platform, anything like that, grapple on Wrecking Ball, so fun. Overwatch is unique because its maps are so varied and there's so many of them. And trying to pick the best thing for the map is really important. I think it's really, really cool. So some way to like change geometry, some way to add cover, stuff like that, I think is super cool. And I think there's so much more exploration to have if the engine allows it. I don't know if it does, but there's so many things that I can kind of muster in my head about how you would be able to get people around the map depending on the stuff with it, right? Remember old Doom tech where you could just like punch into stuff and fly up? There's so much stuff you had with the maps, stuff like that. And I find it so interesting and cool. It also rewards just so much map knowledge and on-the-fly decision-making about, you know, interacting with the map. If you do something cool that only could be done at that spot in that instance, I love that. You were able to figure that out. It's kind of like what I like about platform fighters compared to fighting games, where it's much more open-ended and the factors are changing at rapid rates that you just kind of have to acknowledge when is the best time to do kind of like what your idea is, right? Feel it out in the moment. I think that's really cool. I would love to see them continue with that kind of stuff. What race would you choose in World of Warcraft? Guys, I don't know. I'm typically not like an orc head, so I'll probably say no. This guy looks pretty cool, but he's like magic based, and a lot of, I don't play MMO, so maybe not in an MMO. Maybe I'd be a magic user, but in a lot of games I don't typically go for magic. Human is so lame. Why would you ever pick a human? Undead, kind of edgy. Night elf, way more edgy. Hold on, never mind, I take it back. Blood elf, I mean, guys, Blood elf looks like the move. These guys are hot. They're both hot and cool, mysterious even. I feel like there's one choice. It's Blood elf, 100%, 100%. What do you think the new tank hero is going to be like? I could not tell you. We've seen the crystal stuff, we've seen the new faction, but otherwise, I don't think there are many things that point to what they're actually going to be like. What I would like is another dive tank. Absolutely would love another dive tank. I think it is criminal that we haven't even gotten really any in Overwatch 2. Doomfist half counts because he was a rework into a tank. I'll count him, but so many of the tanks that we have are just brawl, 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 brawl. I need a character with mobility, god damn it. I would love to have somebody flying around the map. Another option for dive, because I love our dive options right now, but it's just we've had all of these characters since 2018. Like, I think it's time for another, shakeup in this roster. So I would love a dive tank, but to be honest with you, I have no idea what they actually might do. And what World of Warcraft class would you choose? Paladin, Hunter, Priest, Rogue, Mage, Druid. Honestly, I'm not even going to put a lot of thought into this one. Druid looks cool. That's a tree guy. I like that. I think that's sick. More tree men, please. All right, top 3 Zelda games. That is pretty easy for me, I think. It's going to be in no particular order. Please don't take this as gospel. Tears of the Kingdom, Link Between Worlds, and Wind Waker. Basically because I played a lot of them, and in fact, I haven't actually finished some of the games that are even on that list. Don't ask me which ones. But I love Tears of the Kingdom a lot. I know a lot of people will prefer Breath of the Wild. That's obviously okay. In fact, a lot of people don't like Tears of the Kingdom. That's kind of crazy in my opinion. I think it does so many cool things that fix the Breath of the Wild formula, the minor gripes that you have with it. And if you don't like Breath of the Wild, you aren't going to like Tears of the Kingdom probably. But if you do like Breath of the Wild like I did, I found it to be such a much more enjoyable time overall. I love the caves. I think that all the shrines were a step up overall. The mechanics are just so fun and interesting to use. I just loved it. I love Tears of the Kingdom overall. I think the dungeon design is just so cool and interesting. But I also love me a regular traditional Zelda as well. Link Between Worlds is kind of that like halfway point. It's a 3DS game. I love the 3DS. It's probably my favorite console of all time, and I'm not kidding with that one, because I was a kid when the 3DS was out. Sue me, I guess. But Link Between Worlds, I think, is really cool. Kind of like that non-linearity in there. You take it as you go what interests you, do things that pique your interest, and then, kind of play the game like you feel. But it still has that extremely tight level design and probably some of the best dungeons in the entire series. I love Link Between Worlds. Super, super, super fun. I have not played Link to the Past. Please don't tell anybody. And of course, Wind Waker. Wind Waker's GameCube. It's timeless. I love the music. I love the look of it. And I don't know if it's like my favorite Zelda overall, the whole entire experience, but it's the one that I look back on fondly of because it came with my Wii U when I got it, and I had it as a kid on the GameCube. And that one is a lot more nostalgia, but it hits the stuff like the untouchables, right? It hits the music, the art design, it hits all of that good Zelda stuff that it doesn't necessarily have to be the best game overall, because collecting the Triforce pieces is a pain. It doesn't have that many dungeons, whatever. I don't really care about that stuff typically, but I love it all the same. Those are my 3 favorite Zeldas, I think. Yeah. Choose a superpower. Flight, super strength, time travel, mind control, invisibility, super intellect. Come on with the intellect. It's the Winston answer. If your mind is your power, that's Winston. Anyways, flight is pretty cool. Strength is pretty whatever. I don't really care. Mind control is disgusting, gross. I'm not even gonna consider that. Invisibility also is a little like shady, weird. Super intellect is silly. I think flight is cool, but time travel is like, that's sick, right? Going back, there's so much culture, so much experience you can get with time travel. There's so much enrichment to gain from time travel. I feel like if that is like, out of these choices, some of them are mildly amusing. This one is just like completely world shaking. So I have to go with that. What other interests / hobbies do you like doing outside of gaming? That is fucked up of you to ask me. The answer is that gaming is my favorite thing. That is what I do. I'm not going to call it a hobby, but I love watching movies as well. Guess what? I also have a film major. I have a film degree, film studies actually, so I don't know how to make them, but I know how to watch them. It's a glorified English degree, but I love going to movies and stuff like that. Actually, outside of gaming, I mean, I like building Legos, but that's just more of like when I get a Lego set, I'm going to do it. I'm not just doing it all the time. But I guess really I like collecting. I am a bit of an avid collector. You guys can't see it. I'll probably show you what I'm actually working with, but I collect games. I collect amiibo. I collect some like Legos and plushies and stuff like that. Anything game related stuff that I like, albums, like records, everything like that. It's just fun. But for the most part, these are my hobbies. Gaming is my hobby. I like playing games. Sue me, I guess. I don't know. Pick a Team Fortress 2 character. Guys, we gotta talk. I understand that I'm an Overwatch channel, and it's basically the only team game I play. But you have to understand this about me. I have never played Team Fortress 2. Do not look at my Steam hours. I don't know where they came from. I promise you, I have never touched this game whatsoever. So I'm shooting in the dark here a little bit. All I know is that people hate Sniper. Spy doesn't seem like my type of guy. Heavy, probably not. I don't know how it plays. Medic is Mercy, Engineer is Torb. I know they play a little differently. I don't know. I'm gonna say Scout because I think he's. Oh, I'm Tracer. Let's look. Tracer is the poster child of the Overwatch. The Overwatch. And still fights to uphold the values that the original group was known for. With a plucky attitude and an infectious laugh, Tracer definitely doesn't take herself too seriously. But thanks to her time-jumping abilities and pulse pistols, you probably should. I just realized when I picked time travel, that's just Tracer. So Tracer and I are probably nothing alike at all. She's very plucky and very energetic, and that is just not me whatsoever. Yeah, I can see some part of it, but I'm gonna be so real with you guys. BuzzFeed, you ain't got this one. I think you might need a little bit of update on this quiz. It's been almost 9 years since you wrote this one, so perhaps let's update a little, get into a couple of new characters in there. But yeah, that's me. Cheers, love. The last time I did an accent from Europe, it went horrific. So I'm just not even gonna attempt it on her. While we are at the end of the quiz, that's not the end of the video. I have a couple of extra things I want to talk to you about. As you may know if you've been watching, I upload 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. This has been a lot of work and a lot of think pieces and stuff coming out of it. And as we've gone on more and more, I think I've realized that I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep up with the quantity of topics in an interesting way. I think that I'm starting to run out of steam and I'm kind of reaching for things to look for just to get a video out every single day of the week. So going forward, I probably won't be uploading every single day on the weekdays. It's going to be depending on the week, I think, but I would start expecting maybe more like 4 or 3 videos a week, down from 5, just because I want to make sure it's interesting and actually worth your time. With that being said though, that will hopefully come with a lot more projects and actual edited stuff and more things that take a lot more time. I'm working on a video about a workshop code I made. I'm going to be working on a video. I'm going to read this book. This is Play Nice by Jason Schreier, about Activision Blizzard and the whole shebang that's happened with it. I'm going to try and give you kind of like a rundown on it and what I found was interesting. I have a couple of other things in the works. I have an actual unique hero design idea that I'm waiting on a commission for before I actually make the video and finish the script. So that is kind of what to look forward to in the future, along with other things that I'm going to be trying to do as well. Lots of stuff going forward. But I do want to say before I end this video, thank you guys so much. Without you, I wouldn't really be able to do this. Without the growth, I probably would give up eventually, although it has been a little faster than I kind of anticipated to get to this point. So if you like this stuff, please subscribe, like, comment, do all of that, any of that engagement boosting. More eyes does really help a lot, and I appreciate everybody who's here now and who chooses to be here in the future. Thank you guys so much. Have a good day. Appreciate it.